Hello and welcome back to REV Endurance Sports and another edition of me talking about my goals and what I wanted to achieve at the beginning of the year and what I ended up achieving. So today is December the 22nd, so we're really close to the end of the year, and I think I completed my 10,000 mile goal. It was Tuesday and today's Friday, so whatever that was, the 18th, 19th. And I wanted to say this from the outset. So everyone has a goal and they wish to achieve it. So for some of you, it could be a whole lot more than 10,000 miles or a whole lot less. And it all depends on your work-life balance, your family life, all these things. You know, I know people, a lot of my customers, they're still in the years where they're coaching their kids' teams, and you know they're busy every Saturday and Sunday with activities and all those kinds of things, that they don't get a chance to ride much. Additionally, I also know a lot of folks live in colder climates part of the year, and or just have commitments, and so you ride the indoor trainer and all that stuff. So I don't want to upset anyone with the way that I am very opinionated about certain things. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I am very frank, if you will, when I talk about things. And I think that is what is appealing to some of you and why you keep coming back to the channel, especially when I do product reviews and I say that things, if it just doesn't work, it doesn't work. Right, so let's get on to my goals for the year. So I wanted to achieve 10,000 miles for the year. I also wanted to achieve reaching 10 million feet of climbing since I joined Strava, and that was like 2012. So in about 10, 11 years, I've accumulated 10 million feet of gain. And we go back to the indoor trainer thing. These are all outside miles. We'll have a long discussion about the trainer, Zwift, and all those things on a different video. But here's the headline. I suggest that you keep your things, your mileage and your elevation separate. So if you want to ride Zwift, ride it all you want. Just create a different profile and create, one that's just for your indoor workouts, your Zwift workouts, Ruvi, you choose the platform. And then you have your outside miles. It's kind of like, if you're a business owner, you know this, you don't want to commingle your funds. You have your George funds and you have your REV Endurance Sports funds. And your accountant will hate you if you commingle your funds and your credit cards and all that stuff. So that's why I think someone should just have a separate Zwift Strava profile. So all of this data is all outside miles. Right? As I said, we'll get into a much longer discussion about why I'm so against indoor miles counting towards your total miles. All right, so let's get into this data so you can see where I'm at. Now, we'll get into these photos in a minute, but down here, I'm going to scroll down here, and I haven't been riding much this year because I've had two colds, really bad ones. Some of you that watch the channel heard me just fighting through the colds as I was still shooting content. Prior to going to Paris-Brest-Paris, a 762-mile, 1,226-kilometer event. And then when I got back from that event, and then I also had COVID, and then I just recently got sick again November time frame for about 2.5 weeks, just cough, cough, cough. It was awful. So I only really got 139 rides in for the entire year. And, so there it is, 10,000 miles for the year, about 750,000 feet of climbing, and then about 700 hours on the bike. Now, I do generally a lot of climbing, or I do a lot of zone 2 riding. So, anyone who divides the time by the number of miles will see a very low average speed, but that just really isn't important to me. And then here you can also see 10 million feet of climbing all time since joining Strava. And you can see there 100,007 miles on Strava. So I also went over 100,000 miles this year within Strava. So this is interesting too, because you can see it's really, really close to 100 feet per mile. All right, elevation gain. So let's look at the year as a per month basis, the mileage. It was a pretty good ramp up April, May, just because some of the qualifying events. And then I don't know why June mileage is so low. And then July was really a bigger month as far as trying to get ready for Paris-Brest Paris. And if we just take that data by itself, I was 1,300 miles that month, 87 hours on the bike, and about 105,000 feet of climbing. Now, one of the things that is important for me to note is that Paris-Brest Paris, which was the goal event, did not have a lot of climbing. It only had 40,000 feet of climbing. So I normally climb a whole lot more, but I just didn't focus on that this year. So you can see there's just not huge elevation gain this year. Now, I usually climb about 1 million feet per year, but I just didn't do that this year. So if we go back to, let's see, where are we here? So here's December, and we're going to go back to this ride here. And just for fun, I was wearing my custom lake shoes, brand new custom lake shoes for this ride. And of course, I have to give a lot of credit for Jessica supporting me for riding all these miles, all these hours on the bike, and all these hours away from home. So thank you, Jessica. I really appreciate how you support me in all this. So just some screenshots, some photos from that day. So 10,000. And then there are the custom lake shoes. And I did an unboxing video of them. And we just decided to have some treats because, well, why not? You ride enough, you can take a few treats. You don't have to, gorge. But these were for the whole table, and there was, 10 or 15 people there. So I just snatched them up just for the photo. That's my friend Memo. Memo chased that day to finally catch the group. And so we had a few minutes to chat. And then this is a video that you can see. Basically, we're just rolling to the start at 6 something in the morning. 6:30 is the roll time. All right, so I also kept created a different spreadsheet just for fun. So when we look here, what I did was I took the total number of rides, the total mileage, the total elevation gain, and total hours. And then I said, okay, what does that divide out to per week? So on a per weekly basis, that means I rode about 2.8 times per week. So that's not much. I know that I say I ride a lot, but it's basically just because each ride is fairly long. So 2.8 rides per week, about 200 miles average per week. And then I also did it in kilometers on this side here. So 332 kilometers per week. Then elevation gain was 748, so about 15,000 feet per week. And then about 4,500 meters per week. And then total number of hours, 683 hours, so about 13.6 hours per week. Same over here, I just rounded up to 14. All right, and then how does it break down per ride? So 139 rides, I rode an average of 72 miles per ride, or 116 kilometers per ride. I climbed an average of 5,386 feet per ride. So that came out to about 1,641 meters of climbing. I averaged about 5 hours on the bike. So every time I got on the bike, 139 rides, I averaged about 4.9 hours. Then how many feet I gained per hour of riding. So you can look at VAM is another metric. So basically every time I was out riding, every hour for 680 something hours, 683 hours, I gained about 1,096, so let's call it 1,100 feet of gain, or 334 meters of climbing on average every hour I was out. And then how many feet per mile? So this was average feet per mile of 75 almost. So 75 feet per mile. If you're on the imperial system, 100 feet per mile is a very, very good metric to have, because you're climbing and descending. And then I think I did this in a kilometer basis, so 14 meters per kilometer. So anyway, that kind of sums up not just the total mileage, but then how it broke down per week, per ride. And I hope that you folks found that entertaining, educational, and if nothing else, inspirational. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It is astounding to me how many times I look at the viewers of a video and it's only about 15 to 20% of the viewers are subscribed. The rest are unsubscribed. Please like, subscribe. Please share my videos with other folks. If you need inspiration for riding, or your friends need inspiration for riding, have them check out my Strava. You can find me on Strava very easily. There it is, George Vargas, REV Cycling. I'll also put a link in the description, and I look forward to seeing you folks up the road.